Yeah, it's Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. It's now 6:51, and we got Weirdo here to report on all things, I would say weird news, but probably naked and sexual news.
Yes.
Yeah, it is Friday, so let's get freaky on this Friday morning.
Feel a little spicy.
What's your first story?
So, Airbnbs are definitely popular. They're not going anywhere, and we know that a lot of celebrities have gotten into the game.
Really? Yeah, so they're investing in the Airbnbs and renting those out?
Yeah, so Christina Aguilera is the latest one, and she's offering an Airbnb in Las Vegas, an exclusive stay at her Mountain View home just off the Strip.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, that actually must be pretty nice, right? It's a mansion, I'm assuming.
It is a mansion. It's got one of those infinity pools, 360-degree views. It's insane.
Okay, nice.
But there's even more with it. So it's 4 bathrooms, 4 bedrooms, the infinity pool, fully stocked kitchen. You also get a free burlesque lesson with professional choreographer, and you get up made up by Christina's Glam Squad for a boudoir shoot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, including tickets to her Vegas residency show, which debuted in December. And you also get access to her full range of products from playground.com that she owns, which are sex toys.
Yeah, but those are, I'm assuming they're new and they're fresh. They're not like her sex toys.
Right, exactly.
Right?
It's not like she used them. She's like, hey, I tested it out. It's good to go.
Right. That is so odd. So she's like, I guess she's marketing like the ultimate girls trip getaway. So is this like a no guys allowed type of Airbnb experience?
It said up to 4 guests. And right now there is an opening for February 29th to March 2nd that weekend. And I did go on to Airbnb.com and it just says $0. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. It opens up today at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So is that 11 for us?
Yeah.
But for one, you have one shot at this. And I'm sure there's going to be thousands of people trying to get it.
And there's no guesstimation of how much it will cost?
No.
Doesn't matter. It's going to be too much. I mean, the fact that it has 4 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms and only 4 people max, that's unfair, dude. Why can't you do 8 people max and then you have like 4 couples splitting the cost? Because it's going to be outrageous. And then it would turn into a little orgy house.
Yes.
Also, I understand like
you're like, I have so many problems with it.
Yeah, because you're Airbnb-ing and you're essentially setting up an orgy house or you're trying to prevent an orgy house from happening because is that a bad investment where you're renting out your house, but on the weekends there's some like weird like sex filled parties are happening inside that house and then the cleaning afterwards got to be horrendous.
For once, the Airbnb cleaning charge would actually make sense in this case.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, they would have to do everything. They'd have to come in with the blacklight crew and all that. Still, I mean, it's basically like, hey, come out with your girlfriends and self-love in individual rooms after you dress up like a burlesque dancer. She's still being dirty after all these years. I mean, she came out with that single.
Baby. Tina.
She's almost 50 now.
I wonder how many hidden cameras are in this Airbnb.
You think that's what it is? It's all just a guise for her to load up on solo lesbian masturbation porn?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what it's got to be.
All
we
right.
figured it out.
I feel like that's a stretch. All right. What's your other story here?
Well, after 1,000 years, there is a town in Japan that is ending the Naked Man Festival.
Oh, no.
First of all, any annual festival that lasts 1,000 years is insane. But just to find out that it's actually naked men. So it's a 1,000-year tradition. And what it is that just men in just loincloths or completely naked sit there and fight to get the ownership of a bag of talismans blessed by the temple's chief priest.
This is so odd.
It's so weird.
Japan's just a weird country in general.
Don't look up the photos.
If you think like, modern day Japan culture is strange, and then you look at it and you're like, well, how did they develop into such a weird culture? Then you look back and like, oh, for 1,000 years they were fighting naked for a bag of rocks. Yeah. Okay. So this is generationally weird. It was passed down. It's ingrained in their DNA. This is very odd. So why are they stopping this?
So they can no longer pass it down because the community that participates in it now is aging. In fact, the one who won this past Saturday is 49, and they're not finding any successors. So younger Japanese men are like, nah, dog, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm out.
It took them 1,000 years to realize it's kind of gay,
Pretty much.
That's some weird news. We're going to hit the reset. And when we come back, we got your F My Life. But first, you want to go to the Tucson Roadrunners tonight? We got a home game facing off against the Bakersfield Condors. Caller number 10 right now is going to score a pair of tickets for free. 600 KFMA, 600. Oh, don't call now. I gave those tickets out already. Welcome back to the podcast broadcast. We are live. Please welcome, of course, we got Mari in studio, and joining us in the same screen as Mari, we have Ben from Crooked Tooth Brewing. Good morning,
Hey.
Ben. And of course, Ben's on because we're going to be talking about the Tucson Foodie Craft Beer Crawl, which Crooked Tooth is a part of again. And you brought some goodies as well, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Look at
travel
you.
with beer.
Well, how big is that big can, that like Foster's style can?
It's a 32-ounce crowler.
Okay, yeah, just a
Oh,
32 ounce, so it's sort of a 40. Yeah, I love
It's
that.
my water bottle.
Yeah, it is. You should just fill up your water bottle and super mom it all day.
Hydrate with beer.
Same difference. I wonder how many of those Stanley Cups actually have beer in them.
Oh, or wine.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
many.
Now, don't you have, because Crooked Tooth, people could buy their own like cups or, like be memberships, right? Don't they have like
We
mugs?
got mug club. Yeah.
Right, mug clubs, right? So have you thought about doing, since Stanley Cups are like the latest craze, having a Stanley Cup mug club?
Yeah, we've talked about like buying them just for other things, not for our mug club. Our mug club's a local like ceramic.
Mhm.
It's a Crooked
cool.
Tree Ceramics, which matches Crooked Tooth so well. And
Okay,
they're such great people and she just does a fantastic job. So
nice. So she's making all those custom mugs, and then people can get their names on them. Then,
Yep.
okay.
and we drop like 100 of them on her in a month's time, and she busts them all out, and they're
Wow.
so beautiful and they're so like well done. Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
cool.
How many mugs do you have in the mug club?
we have 110.
110.
Ooh,
Okay,
wow.
so 110 members of the club so far.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's capping at that. There's no more. So
yeah,
if
you have
wanna
no more
get
room,
in,
huh?
Right.
Yeah. If you want to get in, you got to wait for someone to get out.
yeah. So the mug club, is it like an annual membership fee?
Yes. So
Okay.
it happens in October. We give first right of refusal to the members that are currently there. They get 2 weeks. If they don't sign up by the 15th of October, their slot's gone and it opens up to the public.
I love
Oh.
it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got this community growing, brewing, if you will.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, so- what?
Oh,
Yeah, okay. I'll be here all morning.
This is my
so-
life every day.
Yeah, but I think that's an excellent concept, and yeah, it's just smart too, just to cap it out, just because really of space, honestly, you
Yeah.
know. And you've been expanding that place since you bought it too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's nonstop. It just keeps growing.
Yeah, and you incorporate food from across the street too, right?
Oh, yeah. Nello's Pizza.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
that's a
love
delicious
that.
addition too. Because what a great way to not to have to deal with having to do all the cleanup and all that, right? Yeah.
No kitchen.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, we got a full menu. What you want, what you need,
Yep.
and then someone just runs it across the street.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's such a symbiotic relationship. They got a small like dining area. We got a large space, so it helps us both out.
Dude,
Yes.
and do they sell your brew there too? Then
No, we don't have any brew over there. You come to us to get the beer.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Would you not like sell them any like cakes or something so they could sell?
They
your
don't have
food,
any
stuff on-
room for draft.
Okay.
So they
Alright.
they more focus on like the wine side, and they got some fancy cocktails. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Yeah. And if you want beer, then take your pizza, walk across the street,
Yep,
sit on the patio, and you're good to go.
there it is.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to be on the air here in about 13 seconds. We'll talk a little bit more about that and the different beers that you brought in. And then we're also going to give kind of like a map of how you're going to do the beer crawl this Saturday with Tucson Foodie. It'll be good. All right. Rock 102.1 KFMA. That's brand new music from Disturbed. Don't Tell Me is the name of the track. And what are you sipping on, Weirdo? Or did you crack it yet?
I might have to try this. This is Wolf Moon from Crooked Tooth.
Yes.
Mhm.
So
First of all, the
in-
can is gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
So
let me introduce
beautiful.
our guest real quick. He is in studio right now, Ben from Crooked Tooth Brewing. Welcome back to the show, Ben.
Thank you.
Crooked Tooth is going to be a part of Tucson Foodie's craft beer crawl. And yeah, style's always been a thing that Crooked Tooth has excelled in. And Ben's born and raised Tucson. So this is
Yeah.
just like a local business owner, at his finest, doing the thing, living the dream. Because when I first came down here, I think 8 years ago, Crooked Tooth was in its infancy. So
Yes.
yeah, so you started when?
It's been 7 years.
Yeah,
Since
so-
2016.
Right. So I remember right when you first opened. And
Yeah.
again, it was just kind of like just a small little pop-up shop and
Right.
you're brewing some beer.
Yeah.
And since then, how is there a percentage of expansion that you could guesstimate that you've done since the initial day that you opened?
I'd say 80%.
Yeah,
Wow.
80% expansion. You've got the patio, the facility, the bar, has style, it's got
Thank
the brick walls all around it. And, you got your flights on skateboards, everything's been kind of like branded and personalized to all of your passions
Yeah.
that you've incorporated with the beer. And watching it grow has been a beautiful sight too, because you're smack dab in the middle of downtown, but not necessarily like prime real estate, like on 4th. You're kind of hidden in there, right?
Yeah. We're just a little west of 4th Avenue, a little north of downtown.
Yeah.
It's in a building. I went to Tucson High, and that building was abandoned the whole time we were there. So it's just nice to like breathe life into that space.
Yeah, you had to kick crackheads out to start your shop up. Like, hey, yeah.
Still got to kind of do that a little.
Every now and then, but that's just Tucson in general, right? You know, Oro Valley residents don't know the struggle, but you know, everyone else living in the city does. Yeah. So of course, Crooked Tooth is going to be participating in the Tucson Foodie Craft Beer Crawl. We're going to give you details on that coming up after Marilyn Manson's Beautiful People. You can join the conversation, youtube.com/beefvegan. There, we're going to go through some of the brews that Ben brought in and do a little taste testing on this Friday as well. Cause you know, F it, it's Friday. Let's have a good time. So you can join us, youtube.com/beefvegan, or keep it right here because we got a lot to cover here on this Friday morning. We'll be back here live on Rock 102.1 KFMA. Clear. All right.
Stuff is so
See,
cool.
that was some of the radio stuff. Now we're back on the stream.
Back on
All
the
right,
stream.
Yeah,
nice.
easing. So what type of brew did you go for the 32 ounce?
Well,
You
32
don't need to
ounce,
crack
I
that.
didn't have the one that we're going to feature at the event
Okay.
canned yet. So
this one, you have one beer that you're featuring for this, and it's like a tasting. Is it an IPA? What kind of beer is it?
we're on the sour trail. So they
Okay.
broke it into 2 trails. They got
Yes.
the sour trail and the IPA trail. So
Okay.
we start the sour toast, and then we start the sour like crawl.
Nice.
And so we brought a pineapple chili goza.
Oh, can I try that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want
Guys,
to try
it
that.
comes with cups.
Yes.
He's
You
all
are prepared for sure. I'm going to pull this up too so we can see these 2 trails. And, you know, I was commenting on a Reddit thread because people were asking, should they go? And, you know, there's people commenting like, I went like 4 years ago and it was too crowded. And it's like, no, you know, each and every year they see, you know, how the event went well and what went wrong. And, you know, Shane and company have been doing a great job of, you know, continuing to aim to make it better, easier, more enjoyable for the consumer. And that's been fantastic too.
Is there honey in this one?
There is not honey in this one.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah,
allergic
I
to
know. I
honey?
really, really want to
Okay.
try this, but I can't have honey.
Okay, yeah, don't go there.
Yeah. I'm gonna take it home to my partners.
And I
they're gonna
suggest
love it.
anyone watching along to crack a beer with us and, you know, start drinking.
I mean,
Smells
it's
so good.
Friday.
It is Friday. It's 4:00 somewhere. Oh, that's good.
Oh, that is so good.
Yeah.
It's really smooth.
Smooth. And then you call that pineapple what?
Pineapple chili goza.
Pineapple chili goza.
So
What's the
goza's
goza part?
It's a sour that's a little bit salty. So
Okay. Well, is goza an actual ingredient?
no, goza is
Okay.
a style, and it's
Okay.
a German style, and it originally came from a goza river, and the river's like brackish and a little salty, so the water was already salty.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit like it was salt water, but it was fresh water at the same time.
Yeah.
But you could still pick up on that when they were brewing it.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Interesting.
here we add salt because we don't have that river. So
Yeah, that's true. You know, so yeah, this year's Tucson Craft Beer Crawl introduces beer trails. This is going to be fantastic. And when you started getting into brewing and you started doing this, did you school yourself? Did you go to different brewers academy? You constantly learning different styles of brewing? Like, how did this evolve?
it's a constantly an evolving practice. Like the new styles that are coming out, you got to always stay on top of. I started as a home brewer.
Yeah.
And I just started by learn from your mistakes, keep moving forward, try different styles, try different ways of doing things.
Yeah.
And continue to do that today. Like this one, we're going to brew again. I'm going to add a little bit more chili. Going to add more pineapple. So, I mean, you're constantly like, all right, what do we need to do to adjust this? Unfortunately, we don't have a pilot system. So whenever we make a beer for the first time, there's 350 gallons of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a small batch. Yeah.
Small batch.
So, yeah. Have you ever had a swing and a miss where you're like, oh, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to sell this?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
you
sure
don't
it
really
happens
love
when
to
you-
talk about these things, but like we called it a pizza beer
Yeah.
because we tried using thyme,
Uh
and thyme kind of turns out tastes like pizza.
huh.
So we were able to salvage it. We just added a bunch of pomegranate to it, which gave it that acidity and sweetness and kind of clouded out that. But it ended up being a fairly decent beer. It wasn't one of our
You
best
saved
for sure.
it. Yeah, but you
Yeah.
saved it. We're talking with Ben from Crooked Tooth Brewing here on Rock 1 2.1. Welcome back to the show. The reason why Ben's on, not only are we celebrating just the growth and success of Crooked Tooth, which has been amazing to see. I love local businesses that, and those first couple of years are rough, right? It's very difficult, and to be able to continue to grow and then also become a place where you're working with a business right across the street from you, the pizzeria. The name of that place again is
Anello's.
Anello's, yeah. So Anello's is delicious pizza too, and just makes sense. So now Crooked Tooth has a full menu, which is essentially just Anello's, and they're gonna come over and deliver the food to you while you can enjoy all these brews.
Yeah.
But to see it expand has been awesome, and they're going to be kicking off a new feature here for the Tucson Foodie Craft Beer Crawl, and this is cool. They have actually 2 different beer trails that you can do this year, and Ben and Crooked Tooth are kicking off the Sour Beer Trail, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. So tell me more what you know about the Sour Beer Trail and why you guys get the honor of kicking it off.
I think we made a sour beer once. Actually brought it in here. It's a Tamarindo sour, and people loved it, and then we kind of started just making more sours as the populace demanded, and we became a sour brewery.
Really?
And
so that's kind of like the trend now amongst beer drinkers, like sour. You seeing it kind of lean towards there. People are wanting that more so over like kind of hoppy IPAs.
There's definitely the people who like IPAs don't like sours, and the people who like sours don't really like IPAs. But it's
beer wars.
Yeah. But it's definitely the younger generation is into these sours. They're into that like more tart, fruitier side of beer, which is fun, and it's a cool thing to explore. So we ended up kind of just starting this, and between Shane and Matt over at Ranch House Media, like they just wanted to start it with us. We love that idea. We love what they do. The Foodie is just blown up, and it's so cool to see what they've done. And Ranch House is bringing all kinds of cool events to Tucson. So it's just been great. And so we're going to start it off, and then we have Wilderness on the patio with us, and El Cumbre and Athletic. And then you just kind of kick off from there. I think the next stop's Corbett, and you kind of work your way towards downtown from Corbett, Bacher, and down the way.
Yeah, I love
awesome.
it. Yeah, we participated in a craft beer crawl last year too, and it was a rager, beautiful day as well. I think the time of year, and we lucked out on the weather again. So live entertainment on the patio there, Crooked Tooth, and then they kick off the Sour Trail. So if you're a sour beer drinker, that's where you're gonna want to start. And I think it's at 1:30. It kicks off.
1:30,
Yeah. So that's where the IPA trail kicks off at 1:30 as well, and the Sour Trail kicks off at 1:30 also. With Crooked Tooth, and they're featuring their pineapple chili gose, which we're drinking right now, which is super good. That's fantastic. And you mentioned Arizona Wilderness. That's brewing, actually. That's going to be on your patio, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Arizona Wilderness is out of Phoenix.
Okay.
I think there's only 3 breweries that are not from Arizona.
Yeah, that are participating this year. Yeah, but that's great too. So you're featuring other breweries from throughout the state that are all joining on there. So you could have several different beers from brewers at Crooked Tooth just to kick that off. Get your buzz going before you go on to Corbett, play some pickleball, drink some more, then Borderlands and all that stuff. Man, it looks fun, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great time. This is such a cool event, and it brings it's so nice to have that community together and traveling and seeing all the places that maybe you didn't know existed or what they do and getting that opportunity. One year we had a guy sampling our beer on the patio, and he goes, "Man, this is good." He's like, "Where are you guys located?" I'm like, "You're standing on my patio, dude."
Yeah, dude, you're right here. Google
Weirdly, I own the place. How ironic we met here.
Right. We're going to look at the map here on the podcast broadcast, youtube.com/beefvegan. Also, I'm going to get Ben, Mari, and Weirdo caught up on a phenomenon on TikTok. It's Who the F Did I Marry? This woman, Risa Tisa. Did you hear about this, Ben?
No.
So this woman, Risa Tisa, she basically talked for 8.5 hours. Right? 50 10-minute videos talking about marrying a man who completely deceived her every step of the way during COVID. And it's such a fascinating story that over 100 million people watched all 8.5 hours of her talking about this literally in her car on a cell phone. And that's insane.
That is nuts.
I did find a video, though, that summarizes her crazy experience in 5 minutes.
Oh, that's my style. Clip notes.
Exactly.
Thank God.
So we're getting caught up. So this weekend, if anyone brings it up, you're gonna have all the info,
Right.
dude. So you'll be Captain Small Talk.
Yeah.
All right. So you can find more information on the craft beer crawl at TucsonFoodie.com, of course. Let's hit the reset. Be back with more right after the Killers. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. So and this is gonna educate me as well. And then let's see. I'll pull up where's the map here first? I'm seeing they have it on Instagram.
If you go to, it should be on Instagram. They also have a website. If you go to,
I'm on the website for Beer Trails, and it just kind of
right next to its maps.
Right next to his maps to see.
Top.
Oh, that's on your phone. I don't know if it's on that. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll pull it up, and you guys will pull it up. You guys will see this.
Yeah, and like you guys are talking about like the whole like IPA thing. Like my husband is definitely somebody who's like IPAs all the way. I'm like, I feel like I'm chewing on grass and dandelions. Like I just don't like it. And normally I don't like beers at all. But like you said, kind of the more fruity, the sour, because I know nothing when it comes to alcohol. I drink twice a year. But like this is smooth. This is nice.
Yeah.
And this is the what again?
This is the pineapple chili ghost.
Pineapple. Okay.
Yeah, it's super good.
Yeah.
And Todd said, "Yo, with I should have wore a flannel energy." I thought today, Ben. We didn't get the memo, but
Yeah, get back in my puffer jacket. He's got a puffer jacket. We're fine.
No, it's
okay.
Damn hippies.
All right, let me share this.
Flannels and puffer
Let's educate.
jackets.
This is for all the streamers out there as well, because again, why do you want to hear this story? Well, because this is going to be like 100, 200 million. They're going to put out a Netflix series on this woman's story. You know it because it's such a sensation. But again, 8.5 hours. The fact that, and this is the mind blowing part about this, the fact that this woman is just telling a story about the guy that she married, and it goes on so long in this ADD generation, and it captivated over 100 million people and growing, is a mind-blowing fact, right? And an accomplishment. So it's got to be the craziest story ever, right? Well, let's find out with the 5-minute version here. And this is all 50 parts of this journey. Let's hear it.
Summarizing all 50 parts of the Risa Tisa Who the F Did I Marry videos in one singular part. Let's flow. Risa Tisa and her ex-husband, who she calls Legion, met in March 2020, right before COVID, on 2 different dating apps, which was the first red flag. One was his real name, one was a nickname. They hung out a ton, and when COVID hit, they decided to quarantine at her house, which she agreed was a little fast. Not long after, she gets pregnant. They decide they need to get married. During all of this, they decide they want to buy a house. He can't show proof of funds. Unfortunately, she miscarries the child, and he doesn't even go with her to the surgery and says he has an important meeting for work. Allegedly, at this time, he works as a VP for a condiment company and leaves the house at 6:15 a.m. every morning and comes home at 3:34 p.m. Eventually, they continue the house search, and she wants to see his accounts. He shows her a Chase savings account and a Chase checking account where he has money in it, but says he also has money from playing arena football in a U.S. bank account and an offshore account. Next on the list of things that started giving her pause was a car. She wants this dark blue BMW with cognac interior. He doesn't end up getting it for her, but he does buy a BMW, which he says is his work car that he keeps at some random building that he says the condiment company owns. Some other sketchy stuff happens. They get married January 2021. 2 weeks later, flips his vibe. Starts acting weird, accusing her of cheating, makes up some story that her ex showed up in a Dodge Charger at their house, but she confirms it's a lie because they have a Ring camera. But he does little things to keep her around, like printing out an itinerary for a trip on her dream vacation to London with flights and all that jazz. They try to get another house, third time, with a different realtor, this girl named Amber, and basically they pause it because he can't show the proof of funds, and this woman, Amber, basically gives her like this aha moment where she's like, you can either buy the house with him or I got you if you want to do it by yourself. And she's like, by myself is probably a better idea. Tons of other small things that happen but are important. They do marriage counseling with a pastor, but she also like catches him doing Facebook Messenger with other women that he of course talks himself out of, but he moves into the guest room. She decides to pursue a new job opportunity and needs to put his social security number on the application. The one he begrudgingly gives her is basically different than the one that's on their marriage license. She looks at both. One has no records. One is completely different than what he said he did, which was live in California and have an ex-wife there. Through all this, he gets his knee injury at work, never gets it checked out. It turns into this debilitating injury where he's basically bedridden and he just brushes it off and says it's like an old football injury. One day he calls her and says the stepdaughter from his California marriage had passed away and they need to give $2,000 towards a funeral. Of course, she says yes, she's human. Does some more sleuthing and finds out basically that this California marriage actually happened in Georgia and he basically lied about the whole story and she was the one who divorced him and he couldn't even pay for the divorce fees. Finds the ex's phone number, ends up calling her, and basically the ex is like, if you're calling me, I know it's bad. Don't believe the thing he says. Everything he is a lie. They have a good conversation. She keeps most of it to herself. Continuing her sleuthing, she finds his mom's obituary where she learns 2 more things. 1, he has another ex-wife that he never talked about. And 2, the 2 sisters he claims to have don't exist. In the midst of this, he changes jobs, he's bedridden, and basically he's just sitting there slugging Powerade every day. One day, she turns on his old work phone and finds texts and confirmations that he's been seeing a sex worker. Obviously, it doesn't even surprise her at this point. One thing leads to another, where June 2021, on his birthday, she confronts him in bed where he had been peeing in those Powerade bottles, which is disgusting. They have a huge blow up. They're on the phone with family members. She kicks him out. He leaves with 2 bags of clothes. Eventually, they're texting about the divorce. She goes to file, and his cousin calls her and is like, "Who are you? What's going on? What's happening with this divorce? He just showed up and we haven't talked to him in years." Basically, she confirms all the stuff is completely made up that he's been saying. And she's like, "He's been lying since he was little. I'll get you in touch with his brother so you can work this out." She requests to meet Legion at a UPS so they can do the signature for the divorce papers. He shows up, same clothes, has basically been living out of his car, smells, and is even smaller than he was before. In the conversation with the cousin, she basically finds out that he has a twin, and that's basically who he's been pretending to be, with the VP title, the luxury car, the family house, and she's spiraling. Ends up calling the brother. They talk. He basically said, "I haven't spoken to him in 5 years." And she's like, "What? Every single morning we woke up and he was on the phone with you and we would be talking to you." And basically it turns out he was talking to himself the entire time. The brother confirms that basically everything he said about his family, he made up, including where his parents are, how they passed, what siblings he has. All this is insane. And he tells her that he has a criminal record. Then she starts doing reverse Google image searches on all of these things that she found on his work phone, which were the Chase bank account statements and the BMW and all this stuff. And she basically finds out that he just found them on Google.
So far, so crazy, right?
Jesus.
Yeah. All right. Still a little bit more, but again, this is told over 8.5 hours, 10 minutes a clip at a time, and it was enough reveals over those 50 clips that it kept people watching. And crazy, but it gets worse. So let's find out more.
His aunt calls her and is like, "What's going on?" He's trying to ask me for financial help, and she's like, "Oh yeah, we got a divorce." We tell her, and she's like, "Oh, but what happened to the baby?" She's like, "We don't have a baby." And she's like, "No, what? He's been coming to Augusta for months telling me he's going to bring the little boy and that you guys are getting divorced and he's bringing the little boy with him." And she's like, "That's not true." Eventually, she looks up his criminal records, finds out he's gotten arrested for things like suspended license, trespassing, but the most important one to her was that he got arrested for impersonation of an officer. In August 2021, he's basically disappeared. She can't find anything about him and basically starts reaching out to every single person on Facebook he's ever mentioned to try to figure out where he might be. They all want nothing to do with him.
Of course.
She finds out that he checked himself into a hospital for 2 weeks so he could have a bed, ends up calling her 30 times a day, every hour of the day, and she basically calls the police and is like, "He's stalking me, he's harassing me." The police say there's a warrant out for his arrest. When he shows up, call us and we will come and arrest him. That's what they do. She's watching from a car across the street. They arrest him. He gets out of the car, same clothes, still living in his car, even smaller. She said he was a 3X, now he's a medium. And basically he peacefully gets arrested, but he wants to talk to her. They exchange a few words while the police officer is there with the body cam, and she's basically like, "I never want to see you again." She gets the letter that the divorce is finalized. She's crying with relief. She also donates all the stuff to a domestic violence shelter and calls the car to get it repossessed. And she's like, "I'm out of here. I'm moving. This is it. He's done. He's in jail. It's good." She's scheduled to move on August 31st, and his court session on August 29th, 2 days before, they find out the warrant's expired and he's getting released on the 30th. She goes to stay with her aunt on the 30th, so there's no contention there. She basically wakes up, moves within 2 hours, boom, done, doesn't hear from him until December 2022, 5 months later. She's out from work from COVID, and basically he calls work trying to find her, and she sends him one last message, and it's like, "If you ever try to contact me again, I will get a restraining order," and she never heard from him again. That's the story. Basically, she then does a whole Instagram live, but the moral of the story is she's an amazing storyteller. It had everyone hooked. I hope she gets a lot of brand deals. I hope she gets her BMW and gets to go on her trip to London.
Yeah, so there you go. That's the entire story summarized. And you can make it into a movie to a certain extent. In 8.5 hours, they're going to turn into at least a Netflix documentary, some kind of series. And this is the first time in modern memory, or recent memory, and modern social media era that somebody could captivate an audience like that for so long.
Right.
We literally load shorts.
Car.
Yeah. We literally load up shorts 30 seconds at a time to reach a larger audience,
Yeah.
Because that's how you got to do. Everyone has that kind of squirrel brain, right? Squirrel. ADD. And she goes in with this amazing story, 8.5 hours. But now we're all caught up. So if anybody, like I said, you're at a bar, so you hear all the different types of current events and talking points.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be like, yeah, Risatisa. Oh yeah, let me tell you about that. Can't believe that guy was lying the whole time.
Right.
Peeing in Gatorade bottles.
You're
Right.
peeing in Powerade.
Powerade
Yeah,
bottles. Sorry.
yeah,
Wrong promo there.
yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, Powerade's like, damn it.
I know.
Damn,
I
lost my sponsorship.
Right. Let's get back on the air here. It's Rock on 2.1 KFMA, The Killers, or somebody told me. Welcome back to the show. I got a full crew here in the house. We just watched basically a 5-minute recap of the viral sensation Tisa with Who the F Did I Marry? I mean, it's super simple and still mind blowing. Everybody watched it was kind of blown away, and then now you could do that too. So we finally got to hear that 8.5-hour story on our terms, which is you got 5 minutes.
Right. Right. And give it to me fast.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
And we're doing beer tastings too. This pineapple chili goza is going to be the sour that kicks off the Tucson Foodie Craft Beer Crawl this Saturday at 1:30 at Crooked Tooth. So if you're a sour beer drinker and you're going to be doing the beer crawl, you want to start at Crooked Tooth. But there's 2 trails this year, which is fascinating that Tucson Foodie's doing this. It's going to be beautiful. It's a great way to walk around downtown from venue to venue and be able to taste all these great beers. How much of this beer did you brew to give out on Saturday?
We usually go to about a half barrel. I think it's like 5-ounce pours.
Yeah.
So a half barrel has 120 pints in it.
Nice.
So
okay, yeah.
that should be good. And if we run out, we're conveniently located at the brewery, so we could just grab another keg.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're loading up the kegs. How many kegs do you have on stock at a time? Like ready to go?
Man. 80 to 100.
Whoa.
Yeah. Are you guys I mean, you got brilliant cans, and so the marketing and the branding looks great. So
Thanks.
are you available at different locations all throughout the state?
State, no. Tucson mostly.
Okay.
We have about 68 accounts in Tucson.
Nice. And that's been
Nice.
part of the goal too as you expand, right? Is
Yeah.
trying to find these accounts so to be able to, wholesale this out.
Yep.
Nice.
So yeah, that's been great. And we're self-distributed. So we're the ones going to the businesses. We're the ones delivering it, cleaning our lines, doing all that legwork. And
You've been staying busy, is what you're saying.
Mhm.
Yeah. You started with how many people? Is you and your partner or?
yeah, there were 4 originally, and then we bought out 2 of them, and now there's my wife is my partner. So
Nice. And how many employees you got?
8.
8. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just growing up. Just a successful local business story.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love hearing that. What are some of the goals that Crooked Tooth, as you continue to grow and expand? What are just some of your personal goals you're trying to
Man,
do?
we always talk about our 1 and 5 year goals. So
Yeah.
1 year we're looking to expand production to get to where we can more, we can have more available, we can even expand outside of Tucson, because right now we're on the struggle just to keep up with Tucson.
Yeah.
So being able to hit markets like Phoenix, Flag, and the smaller towns around and state is a goal. So 5 years I'd like to be in all those spots, and 1 year I'd like to be producing much more beer than what we are, at least 4 times.
Yeah.
5 times the beer we're doing now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we can hit some big accounts. We could do like the large liquor stores and things like that. Right now we try to stick to like mom and pop restaurants. We do some of the corporation restaurants, and it's all been great. So
Yeah.
Tucson's a great place.
Well, you got to deliver it too. So I mean, it's everything on all different levels. So it's not just brewing and canning, and then sales to get the accounts, and then you got to go out. And if you have accounts in Flagstaff, then that means you got a truck driver driving up to Flagstaff, dropping some stuff off on a regular basis. Yeah. So, starting off locally, the goals regionally, and building it up right there. The beer community itself, especially downtown, with you got all these vendors and stuff. Is it like a tight community? You guys aim to help each other out? You work with each other often?
I think it is just across the state. I mean, more so in Tucson. I feel I got friends in other parts of the state that maybe don't have that same camaraderie that we do here, but it's still just a big, like, we're building each other up. Nice. This is a thing that we grow together, and if you become big enough as a craft beer scene, you start to pull in that traffic and that tourism that comes just for craft beer.
Yeah.
And you got places like San Diego and Denver and like some of those big hubs, Portland. Well, like, why not Tucson? And right now the craft beer scene here is growing, and it's great. We got some really like there's quality beer being made here.
Yeah.
And if you're not experiencing that quality beer, you need to get to a brewery and find some.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I love it, and you are seeing that, and it's great too. And Ben actually mentioned something interesting too. He said like the older beer drinkers tend to still lean towards IPAs, but he's noticing the younger generation definitely gravitating towards the sours. So you're seeing the kids, the new class from U of A and whatnot, going for the sour beers first. So it's an interesting thing to see these trends from the inside. Be able to ride that out. And of course, Crooked Tooth provides flights and everything else. But this Saturday for the Tucson Foodie Craft Beer Crawl, things kick off at 1:30. You can find your path, your tickets, and everything that you need to know. TucsonFoodie.com. We're going to keep the conversation moving, and we're going to continue to try some of this beer. And on the FM side, when we return, Mari's going to hit us with another round of Would You Rathers. And these are hypothetical situations. So we get ready for the hot seat, Ben.
Good.
That's coming up next on Beef Vegan Presents, but we're keeping the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast, youtube.com/beefvegan. Clear. All right, nice. And I got another video I wanted to show you. Oh, well, one thing I wanted to talk about real quick is I saw this podcast, Drink Champs, right? It's with a hip hop artist, Nori, and a co-host. And the concept is kind of like this, actually. It's kind of fitting that we're drinking and we're doing a podcast. That's their concept. Okay. So they'll have guests on, they'll be drinking, and then they just have conversation. And sometimes the guests drink a little too much. It's been a while since someone's really went too overboard. But they recently had a guest on named Benzino. Are you familiar with that name?
Nope.
Okay. So, yeah, Benzino is a great name. He used to be the founder of Source Magazine, hip hop magazine.
Okay.
And, most people would know him on a mainstream level as someone who had a beef with Eminem. Right. So there's this rap battle that's been going on with Eminem for 22 years. It initially started because the Source magazine was basically continued to shit on Eminem and wouldn't give him 5 stars for any of his work. Right. Because he was white. Right. And so then the war words began. And Eminem has been releasing like battle raps against Benzino since, again, like 2000, 2002. And it's Eminem. So, they're like vicious and he's like really good. So the public consensus is continued to be that Eminem is destroying this dude. What happened was he literally destroyed this dude on the inside on an emotional level. It was actually kind of shocking. Now, for years, Benzino would still continue the war words, right? He would continue to like deny that he ever got washed by Eminem, meaning he got beat. Would continue to talk smack and like discredit any of his skills or accomplishments, and would just call him like White Elvis, the usual things, and pretend to be this tough guy, this bravado. But during that time, you saw this like decline of Benzino from this guy who's a multimillionaire entrepreneur to losing his money, getting involved in drugs and alcohol, and things started unraveling, and he's losing this. And he still has name recognition, but he definitely doesn't have the money and the power and the success that he had years prior. So then he joins this Drink Champs podcast, and he doesn't normally drink. He's just a weed smoker. So he goes there with a purpose. He knows what the alcohol is going to do to him, and he wants to let this burden off of his chest. So he starts slamming Hennessy, right? Oh. And the guy gets blackout, dude. Yes. Gets blackout and emotional and just wrecked. And I'm going to pull this up for you real quick because you have to see this. During his tear-filled drunken rant, he goes on to admit not only is Eminem a fantastic artist and that he did get beat by Eminem, that he never really wanted a problem with Eminem, and he just only really wanted to meet Eminem, right? And he cried about how his daughter, who is a young celebrity in hip hop and R&B circles, I'm forgetting her name, but she's gorgeous. When she got into the industry, she's an entertainer. She had to be cool with Eminem because Eminem's the winner and he is the loser. So she almost had to distance herself from him, her own father, to just be accepted within the music industry because Eminem was the victor in this whole like 22-year-old battle. And not only that, every time he would go anywhere and do any kind of interview, the first thing that anyone would ever bring up was Eminem.
Yeah.
Smoking him. And so this was like following him around for his entire, 22 years while his life is unraveling. and destroying him. But part of it was his fault. Part of it was his fault for the stubbornness of him not like, accepting the loss, or, the maturity of reaching out and saying, hey, I apologize, or, words were said, we crossed some lines. Let's squash this. Any of that could have been done over 22 years. Instead, he waited until he was blackout drunk on a nationally broadcasted podcast to have a full-blown meltdown. It completely captivated the internet too, and it is fascinating to watch. So I'm going to show you just a little bit where
all this bullshit that we doing,
he is.
We fucking shit up, bro.
So check this out.
We fucking shit up. If we come together, stop criticizing and bullshitting with each other and beefing with each other and killing each other, we could run this whole motherfucking planet, bro.
Very true.
So you see him
why are we doing this when Martin?
So now he's ranting about race relations, things like that, how black people could come together, how the Jews came together, and that's the reason why they run everything, So if black people do the same thing, so it's not a wrong.
The power structure that run all this, hip hop was given from God, and it gave niggas that could come out of jail and give them checks, and we constantly going at each other, and they laughing at each other, bro. I didn't come on here, Nori, to bullshit, bro. I come on here. I told you, I come on here to get drunk because it's the only thing that can make me speak. Man, I lost too many niggas, man. I've been supposed to be dead. All I'm saying is that hip-hop was given to us from God. And why do we keep destroying each other?
All right, and then hold on, scrub to where the tears are going. So much stuff. This is actually, he's having this breakdown for almost like 20 minutes at the tail end of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're in jail and fucked up. We're in a society that white America don't give a fuck about us, and hip hop saved us. Hip hop made white people believe that we was okay, that black people was okay. Hip hop brought white people to us. And the powers that be didn't want that. They wanted Eminem they wanted white people to buy it to Eminem. Eminem didn't have nothing to do with that. He was just used, and he didn't have nothing to do with that. You think this shit going through with me and my daughter is fucking cool? I love my daughter. I raised my daughter. I'm a street nigga. I wasn't around her all the time because I was out selling drugs, trying to provide and make sure she was straight. Just like every other nigga around here, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, Jay-Z's speech. Jay-Z.
And he talks about Jay-Z's speech, how Jay-Z's complaining about how Beyonce never got Grammy for Album of the Year. And it's like, there's bigger problems than that. But yeah, I'm not going to watch the entire thing or show you the entire thing, but just showing a little tidbit and give you a takeaway of that. It was fascinating to see, and even the way the hosts react to this. Mm-hmm. First off, they just kind of let the rope extend, be like, yeah, keep going. They step back, didn't say a word, let this guy go on. And at some points they were trying to interject to be like, come on, man, we don't need to do this, and then try to protect him from himself. And he's like, no, I want to be right. I wanted to do this. He needed to do this for a long time.
Yeah. Well, over 20 years of buildup. And like, that was just her interviews normally go 3 hours. Because that was a 3-hour interview.
I know, because again, he just got wasted. He got wasted, and once they saw like things, he was knocking things over. I mean, if he was at Crooked Tooth, he would have been kicked out. Mm-hmm. Right? By law. By law, I know.
Stop serving this guy, please.
Yeah. You're like, no. As soon as somebody starts crying like that and starts talking about, conspiracy theories or whatever the case, they're gone. And so, yeah, but in this situation, he kept telling them, no, I want you to keep going. And so he was giving them permission. So then they just sat back, like jaws, gasped and just listened. And there was a lot of good stuff said in that. And I hope that, I'll tell you this, from watching this and being like, Team Eminem when it comes to this battle for a long time. I grew up listening to that kid, he's older than me. Elvis, whatever. He's always, those songs are some of my favorite. And I always had this perception of Benzino based off his, public persona and the way that he would, publicly speak out, where I was not a fan of Benzino. But after seeing this, not only did I have greater empathy for the man, it made me, appreciate him a little bit more. And I do hope that they get to do the little sit down and be able to squash this and move on, because it obviously been eating them up inside. Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. I mean, just imagine. Okay, here's a scenario, Ben. You get into a fight in high school. Kid kicks your ass, right? Then every time somebody like bumps into you for the next 22 years.
That's all
They're
they
like,
can talk about.
Yeah, hey man, remember when Charlie kicked your ass? Yeah, how was that? How'd that feel? For 22 fucking years, over and over again.
It's too much.
Demoralizing, yeah.
Yeah, it would drive you mad. And that's exactly what happened. That's basically, in so many words, it was a war words, but he got his ass kicked verbally and he could not escape it. And then everything that he accomplished from the slums of Boston to a CEO of a national, a national brand of the Source magazine, making millions of dollars and stuff. He's not known for that as much as he's known for the guy that Eminem smoked over and over again. Yeah. So crazy. All right. But let's get ready for Would You Rathers. You've been compiling those, right? Well, I try to get topical on this podcast as well.
Yeah.
Can I taste something else as well?
Yeah.
All right.
I got a ESP, which is an extra special bitter. It's an English beer.
You know what? I'll tell you what, Ben. I don't want you to keep cracking them open. Let me just get some more of that pineapple. Yeah. We'll help you kill that 32 ounce.
Right.
All right. So here's the deal with the Would You Rather, which I will repeat on the air, but you got to give one or the other and why. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
No running from these.
No.
And they're going
Alright.
to get weird.
Great.
The weirder, the better.
Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. We're hanging out here with Ben from Crooked Tooth Brewing, part of the Tucson Foodie beer craft beer crawl that they're doing this Saturday. TucsonFoodie.com to get all the information that you need to know and tickets. Mari's in studio as well, along with a Weirdo, and it's Friday, so we're going to have some fun with some more Would You Rather hypotheticals. As you guys know, you have to choose one or the other and why from Mari's Twisted Mind. All right. So no running from these. And sometimes they're going to be so obscure, you really have to think about it and to kind of get there. So, Mari, give us our first Would You Rather.
Okay, first, would you rather? In honor of having been here, would you rather drink every liquid ever out of a heavy beer hat, with the straws on either side?
Yep.
Or a gigantic silly straw? Like every liquid for the rest of your life.
Silly straw.
Why would you say silly
God.
straw, weirdo?
Okay, I wanted those so bad as a kid, and like now that I'm an adult, they weren't that expensive. Like I don't know why my parents wouldn't buy them.
Your parents are too poor for silly straws. I mean, this is like a sad story here.
Love you, mom and dad.
Yeah.
No, silly straw for sure. Especially like I've seen those videos where people have made the really crazy ones that take up like a whole room.
Yeah.
It looks fun.
Okay. All right, Ben, what would you say?
I'm going to go on the opposite end. I'll take the hat.
Yeah, the hat.
Yeah. I'm safe. I got the hard hat on.
Oh,
Yep.
I mean, I got free hands. I got to do some work during my day.
Exactly.
So I need these hands to kind of move around. Plus, like, I got 2 beers going. Maybe I got different flavors, styles.
Yeah.
Maybe I got water in one and beer in the other. Variety.
Yeah. Spoken like a true entrepreneur, I think that's wise because, you're always, as a business owner, if something has to get done, you just got to do it. So it's hard to schedule days off because if something has to get done, then there is no day off. You
Oh my
got to do
God.
it.
Day off.
Coming soon for Crooked, for you guys would be instead of the beer mugs, do beer hat club.
Do the beer hat club.
Yeah.
The storage on that would be out of control.
Yeah, dude. Seriously.
So charge extra.
They
Come
have to
on.
build up another story just for hats. So excellent. I agree with you, Ben. Especially since if I was in your shoes, you get more done and having a water and a beer so you can hydrate while still maintain your buzz. Smart man. He's a pro.
No.
Yep. All right. Give us another Would You Rather, Mari.
Okay, would you rather wear a bib every time you go out to eat or drink from a sippy cup every time you're at a bar?
Bib every time you had to eat or a sippy cup every time you are at a bar. Which one is more emasculating? I will say, I've been to Angry Crab, like Angry Crab Shack, and wearing the bib is part of the tradition there. You don't want to get your clothes all messy. So I think bib's kind of more natural. I grew up watching like the cartoons or you would see, all the characters kind of tuck in their napkin to have like a bib. So this was something I emulated as a small child. I don't mind bringing that back. And, fatty got to eat. When I'm eating something good, I'm shoving it in my face all day long. So what would you say, Ben?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, man. Fatty got to eat.
Yeah.
And I'm a sloppy eater. Plus, like, sippy cups are totally demoralizing. I hate it when you get in a drive-thru and they give me a damn sippy cup.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Like I'm a grown
Seriously.
man.
Yeah. What would you do, weirdo?
I'd probably go with the bib.
Dip
No,
all
you
around.
wouldn't. You would do the sippy cup all day long. Because first off, you don't look like someone who eats or appreciates food that much.
My God, I swear to you, I am going to figure out how to get rid of this stereotype because, like, I seriously sometimes eat as much as my boyfriend.
You want to get rid of the stereotype? Get fat. Yeah. You don't want to get rid of that
It's
stereotype
not
anymore.
gonna happen because of what I eat and how clean I eat.
Nah. Well, I only appreciate fat people. All right, what's our next? Would you rather, Mari?
Okay, would you rather cry out tiny rocks instead of tears or sweat pickle juice?
Rocks.
Okay.
I hate pickles. I hate them so much.
So you would cry out rocks.
You could have said cry out thorns and I would have picked that. Like, no, I
I love
hate
pickles.
pickles. Hate it.
Okay, so yeah, but I have a problem with that. But go
Okay.
ahead. I'll explain why here.
I
Which
mean,
one would you
pickle
do?
juice could come in handy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You know, like you need a pickleback.
Right there.
Am I having a hot dog or a hamburger? I need a little like extra pickle juice on it.
Yep.
I mean, as long as it's dill.
Yes.
Don't
I
give me
mean,
any of that
with
sweet
how
crap.
much
Yeah.
a lot of people are obsessed with pickles, like, wouldn't you be worried that people would just come around like licking you?
Well, you don't want to be licked now?
No, no,
I'm just saying.
not, especially not by strangers. Absolutely
Oh,
not.
well, let's say like your
You
partners.
say
they
I'm
like.
effing weird. You, sir.
I'm saying if your partners are into pickles, and then that's you got extra flavor on that. That's all day long. I think it would be so painful crying rocks. That's my only issue with the rocks. Right? Is that it would be so painful crying rocks.
Mhm.
So every time you cry, you're getting sad because you know you're about to cry because you know it's going to be such a painful experience and just shooting those out. Now, as opposed to like
No,
pickle
you
juice,
just mask and disassociate and feel no feelings. It's fine. I did it for years.
I mean, or a landscape company gets a hold of you and now they're like selling you rocks and
Yeah.
That's true.
That's
and
true.
capitalism.
That is very true.
Mm.
All right. Well, those are some would you rather's. We're going to keep the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast. New music from Pearl Jam coming up after these words, plus your beef tip. You can join us, youtube.com/beefy. You're going to keep it right here on Rock 102.1.
No, it's just beef and weirdo fighting like siblings.
Huh?
You wouldn't wear a bib. You're not fat enough. Okay.
Yeah, like that. Were you mad at that? I feel like you got mad at that.
You like don't believe that I eat.
I don't care. I'm just creating a debate.
Okay.
Yeah, I do know you eat.
Well, okay. So my boyfriend.
I watch you eat. You ate a salmon stick this morning.
I did.
So she had like beef jerky, but that was salmon. It smelled like it was
so good.
it was like a hot cooked meal. I'm like,
Smoked salmon.
what the fuck is this? Like it smells like you're making something in here, and it looks like you're eeating a Slim Jim. And yeah,
Oh,
it was
fancy.
so
it was
good.
salmon jerky, dude.
Oh my god, they're like $2.50 a bar though, but God, it's so worth it.
Yeah, I bet.
Right. Just because with all my like dietary restrictions and stuff. But like my boyfriend brought up like this reel on Instagram where it literally showed like a regular McDonald's meal, right? Like order number 1, large fries, large drink, and it put how many calories.
Yeah.
And then on the opposite end, they took the same amount of calories but replaced it with food you can affordably get for the same cost at the
Yeah.
grocery store, but the same amount of calories, and it was quadruple the food weight. Like it
Dude.
was insane. So this whole trope of like, oh, you be skinny, but that means you don't eat a lot. It's like, no, I actually do eat a ton. Like since I fixed my diet, I used to eat terrible. And then
She used to actually be a little chubby.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
yeah. And then
and I was a fan. I was just like, hey,
Right.
I saw old school pictures. and I
it's
was
fat
like,
weirdo. It's cool.
Yeah.
But I would eat terrible, but I would only eat like once a day. And now I'm eating 3 full meals every day with snacks, and like I maintain or lost weight. Like it's these weird tropes, and Beef likes to say he gets all conspiracy theorist and all that. And like I am the same way when it comes to the FDA and food. And my girlfriend might have convinced me that the government absolutely has the cure for cancer and they won't give it up.
No, they're working on it. No. It's getting closer and closer.
She presented some solid evidence that they've got the cure for cancer and they're not giving it up.
See, I was had this conversation the other day, and I had like, if we had the cure for cancer, how would we keep universities that are doing all the research
Funded?
from spilling the beans? Like
Yes.
you have some grad student that's in this lab working, and they like see something open on a computer, like here's like how do you?
Yeah, but
keep
how
it-
are they keeping the alien secret too? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, no, we're
Because
talking about
maybe,
aliens
yeah,
now.
we
Didn't we
are.
have
Yeah,
like
we're
official
starting to.
government told us the aliens are real?
Well, the UAPs and that, but they haven't necessarily came out and said, yeah, we have this body and we've dissected it or anything like that, or have had communication with aliens. They haven't said any of that. I don't think they will. for many reasons. But yeah, they continue to publicly say there are researchers that are getting closer and closer to figuring out ways to cure cancer. I do believe that they will reveal that cure actually, it's hard to say because they haven't told us that they cured HIV and AIDS yet. But Magic Johnson would tell you otherwise, right?
Right.
Like, so
how can they monetize it? Like, that's going to be the key.
That's how it always is, but they'll make money off it. And Anthony, our streamer, is he's kind of anti this because he doesn't believe everyone should live forever. And I
have no arguments for that either.
I know, but with that, he's afraid of overpopulation. I get that argument, but we're not talking about curing cancer for 85-year-olds. What about curing cancer for a 10-year-old?
Right.
So right. To have that cure is definitely important. And so.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite Reddit feeds about like what is something that you know is absolutely true and you have like 0% evidence for. I love going down those because some of them like that makes sense. Don't know how, but God, that sounds right. Like that for me is the cancer thing. Like they absolutely have it.
I'm not letting you have beer on the show anymore. You immediately start talking cancer.
I had
what happened to our Feel Good Friday?
I had 2 sips. No, it's all this damn sugar. It makes me like a crackhead.
It's like what the hell, man? Yeah.
Welcome to ADHD Hour with Weirdo.
Pre-beer, I had Mari and Weirdo do the All-Star Challenge to Barbie. Did you hear this, Ben? Or are you in the lobby? So the All-Star Challenge is what we've it's an old theory of mine that All-Star can fit to any pop song, like instrumental, just the way that it's written mathematically. The structure is 4/8/4 type deal.
Yeah.
And so I asked just to challenge them for our listeners to give us a suggestion for a song for them to sing Smash Mouth's All-Star over. And someone said Barbie Girl. And so this was their version of this. Check it out. All right, let's do this up. Here you go. It's the All-Star Challenge. Barbie Girl clearing her throat. Oh, was it date night last night?
Yes, sir. Oh yes. Hi, Amari.
Hi, Weirdo.
You want to go for a ride?
Sure, Weirdo.
Jump in.
You guys got to mouth it.
Let's go.
God.
Can I go?
No. Girls only. Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed.
Shit.
She's looking kinda dumb with a finger and a thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead.
Let's go.
Well, the years are coming, they don't stop coming. Said to the rules and I hit the ground running. Didn't make sense not to live for fun. Your brain gets smart, but your head gets dumb. So much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with taking the back street? You'll never know if you don't go.
Go!
You'll never shine if you don't glow.
Hey now, you're a rock star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get laid, and all that glitters is gold. Go, breaking stars will break the mold.
There you go. So that's just an example of that. Huh?
God, I cannot wait for you to splice up that video. So excited to show my partner.
You're gonna have to wait till Monday because I'm not trying to do extra work, but
hell no.
I got games and shit. But that was the All-Star Challenge, continuing that theory, going strong.
Right, because at first we were like, I don't think this is gonna work, and then we made it work.
Yeah. Yeah, well, see, Christina said it was fire, and we did have plenty of calls afterwards. That loved it, and ladies love the duet of Mari and Weirdo.
I think it's gonna have to be weekly.
Yeah,
it is. It is. It probably will be until you guys get sick of it, and let me know. If you
I'm
get sick
not
of
quite
it.
sure I will.
No, it's a fun exercise, fun to play on the air and stuff. And if we do it in different hours, there'll be different people listening, so we won't try to beat, wear it out. Yeah.
Is it always going to be All-Star?
Well, that's the song that fits to every other song. And then we just do it to different instrumentals. And we've done different versions of it already. So we did it over my White Zombies, More Human Than Human. Nailed that one. And all right, we're back on the air. It's Rock on 2.1 KFMA. I'd like to thank our in-studio guest, Ben from Crooked Tooth Brewing. Ben, again, congratulations on everything. Looking forward to the Tucson Foodie Craft Beer Crawl and kicking off the Sour Trail with you at 1:30.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, grab your tickets now because this thing's going to be fire. So
nice. Yeah. You got any other special events coming up or anything where you could direct people to?
Man, we got some live music tonight with Barefoot on Bumblebees, which is fantastic. Yeah, and then coming up, we're going to do some stuff for St. Patty's Day. We're going to have some Irish dancers. We're going to have a
green beer.
Green beer, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah, you got to.
Although I ain't
Course.
putting green in my keg. We just put some food coloring in it when you order it.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah, not trying to mess up your keg.
Yeah, I don't want green beer forever.
Right.
Make sure you guys follow Crooked Tooth Brewing brewery, right?
Yeah.
On social media, and you'll be able to find them on Facebook, Instagram, all that to keep updated. Let me give you a beef tip before we get out of here this morning. My beef tip to you is let's see. It was going to be the workout one or the 3 things you should never do at work. Let's do that one.
Okay.
All right. So first thing, don't overshare. All right. And this is according to an HR professional.
Oops.
So yeah, mistake number 1, don't overshare. It's easy to get
Fired.
comfortable with coworkers and they can use that against you. Okay. Also number 2, don't be humble. All right. Got that one checked. They say successful people tend to be direct about their accomplishments and more vocal. Now that I had a couple of these pineapple sour ales, I'm going to write to my GM and tell her how awesome I am. And then finally, don't stick around too long at parties. Negative things can happen after hanging around too long at company functions. So make sure you ghost out before everyone else does, because your last one lingering, it's going to be trouble. So those 3 things, according to this HR professional, are the 3 things you should never do at work. So there you have it, your beef tip. Thank you guys so much for listening. As always, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast broadcast, youtube.com/beefvegan. Robin Nash is up next. We'll be back Monday morning. You guys have a great weekend. Drive safe, ride safe. And as always, rock local. Later.
When
There you go.
you wish
And that's a wrap. That's how we do that, man.
That's
All right.
Thanks for coming on, man. It was awesome.
An end to all your grief. But if you've been
That's a hot
mean or
stepper.
kind of bad,
Hot
I will knock
stepper.
out all your teeth.
You guys have a good weekend. Hopefully we'll see you out